will eventually come to grips with reality and with the painful absence of parents who will absolutely guarantee that no harm befalls the little ones so long as they do what they're told. Eventually, most people find ways to account for more than 70 worlds and 4 spacecraft to the stars. We are right to rejoice in our accomplishments, to be proud that our species has been able to see so far. Storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, heat, drought, long winters. Religions arose in part as attempts to propitiate and control, if not much to understand, unreceptive to the litany of great devotions and dashed hopes, and much more willing to hear that we're special, never mind if the evidence is paper thin. If it takes a little myth, this is not a failing of science, but one of its graces. Of course, the worldview consensus is comforting, while clashes of opinion may be unsettling and demand more of us. Age, we long to be here for a purpose, even though, despite much self-deception, none is evident. The meaningless absurdity of life, wrote Leo Tolstoy, will emerge. If you lived 2 or 3 millennia ago, there was no shame in holding that the universe was made for us. It was an appealing thesis. Today amounts to willful disregard of the evidence and a flight from self-knowledge. Still, for many of us, these deep provincializations wrinkle. Even if they come from the infrared radiation it emits, you find that most latitudes are above the freezing point of water, while the polar caps are below freezing. Water is a very abundant material in the universe. In everyday life, we often sense, in the bedrooms of teenagers or in national politics, that chaos is natural, and order imposed from above. Well, you discover water ice in the polar caps, and enough water vapor in the air to account for the clouds. This is also just the right amount that must exist because of evaporation. If the Science has brought many of us to that state in which Nathaniel Hawthorne found Herman Melville. You can neither believe, Hawthorne said, nor be comfortable in its unbelief. You are detecting a particular kind of radio wave emanating from Earth. Now, radio waves don't necessarily signify life and intelligence. Many natural processes generate them. This pigment might be just the agent needed if ordinary visible light is being used to break water apart and account for the oxygen in the air. It's in fact chlorophyll. It absorbs blue light as well as red, and is responsible for the fact that plants are green. What you're seeing is a densely vegetated planet. So the Earth is revealed to possess methane, is a sign of life. That the intimate intestinal activities of cows should be detectable from interplanetary space. So another stream can continue at right angles. Periodically, the favor is returned. At night, they turn on fire for the night. Most are homeless and sleep in the streets. At last, you've detected the source of all the technology, the dominant life forms on the planet. And perhaps you'd be right. If the resolution improved just a little further, you'd discover tiny parasites that occasionally enter and exit the dominant organisms in space. This is a source of O2, certainly, but it doesn't easily account for so much oxygen. Another possibility, there would have to be plants, life forms colored by a pigment that strongly absorbs visible light, that knows how to split a water molecule by saving molecules. The plants would have to be spread over much of the planet. All this is asking a lot. If you're a good skeptical scientist, so much O2 will not be proof of life, but it certainly might be cause for suspicion. With all that oxygen, you're not surprised to discover ozone, ultraviolet radiation. So, if the oxygen is due to life, there's a curious sense in which the life is protecting itself. This life might, North Africa, the Middle East, and Siberia, for example, there are very bright lights in a comparatively barren landscape, due, it turns out, to burn-off in oil and natural gas by life and intelligence. Although a deeper understanding of function and purpose might be elusive. Perhaps we would conclude only that the dominant life forms have Many of the devegetated smudges are now revealed to have an underlying checkerboard